Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nenge, coming to you all live from Nen's Gaming, and for today's video I'll be going over the week 6 scores from this Madden franchise mode series for the PS2. It's 32 team series that I'm doing. I'll be going over the scores from week 6 as well as the players of the week and from both the AFC and the NFC, the horse trailer player of the game from the Monday Night Football game, and previewing the upcoming week 7 matchups. So here we go. For starters, this one, the Chargers, they beat up on the Falcons at the Georgia Dome 36-19. The Danian Tomlinson had a whale of a ball game. He almost had 300 total yards from scrimmage, but overall, you see there 226 rushing yards, including an 81-yard touchdown on his first carry of the game. He pretty much propelled the Chargers to victory. Defensively, this was the Chargers' best outing by far. They recorded 6 sacks, 3 interceptions. They also ended up knocking Michael Vick out of the game. So the Chargers, they started out 1-3. Now they've won 2 in a row. While the Falcons, they followed up 4-2. The high-scoring affair between the Bills and the Dolphins. The Bills were able to hit a last-second field goal to get the victory there against Miami. So they improved to 2-3, while Miami falls to 0-6. So now the Dolphins are still looking for their first victory of the year, while the Bills, they look to get things back on track. Willis McGahee had over 100 rushing yards. Travis Henry almost went over the century mark, but as you see there, Ricky Williams and Jay Fiedler did damage offensively for the Dolphins. Defense was suboptimal this game. Although you see there, Eric Moulds, 5 catches, 179 yards, 86-yard long touchdown, 2 touchdowns. Lee Evans with 2 touchdowns. As the Bills as I mentioned before, kick a last-second field goal to beat Miami at Buffalo. Washington goes into Chicago, manhandles the Bears 33-13. Clinton Portis goes over 150 rushing yards. Washington forces 3 interceptions off Chris Redman, including a pick 6 from Sean Springs and an interception from Sean Taylor. They also recorded 6 sacks. As you see there, Chris Cooley, 7 catches, 78 yards, a touchdown. Rod Gardner went over 113 yards. And Washington was pretty much in control throughout this game. So the Bears fall to 0-5. They'll be playing Tampa Bay in week 7. Still looking for their first win, while Washington ends their 4-game losing streak. Picks up their first win of the year. Their first win since week 1. In a close shootout, the Browns beat the Bengals off a last-second game-winning field goal from Phil Dawson. Phil Dawson ended up kicking 6 field goals, as he pretty much was the MVP of that game for the Browns. The Packers destroyed the Lions 34-10 in Motown. The Packers defense had a whale of a ball game, recorded 4 sacks, 3 interceptions. This game was a high turnover fest between the Jaguars and the Chiefs, but in the end, the Jaguars were able to pull away late. Trent Green had a terrible outing, as you see there. 12 of 34 passing, 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions. Jerome Bolden had 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. And as you'll see it later on, because of his efforts, he ends up winning Defensive Player of the Week on the AFC side. So now the Colts improved to 2-4, but they got a tough matchup at Indianapolis, who they already beat, but the Colts are coming off a bye, while the Chiefs fall to 1-4 and they host the Falcons week 7. The Patriots shut out the Seahawks 27-0, forced 5 takeaways. Corey Dillon ended up with 150 plus rushing yards. And in this highly anticipated matchup, it was never close. Patriots dominated from start to finish. Patriots defense has been the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL so far throughout this franchise mode series. The Jets beat up on the 49ers 33-10 to improve to 5-0. They'll be heading to New England to take on the Patriots. That's basically a battle for AFC East supremacy. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms will be on the call for that one. In the NFC Championship game rematch, the Panthers come out on top 27-14 and hand the Eagles their first loss. The Texans blow out the Titans 34-6. The Steelers go into Jerry World, force 7 takeaways, including 4 interceptions, and dominate the Cowboys 37-6. Broncos stomp the Raiders, run all over them, and end up improving to 6-0 with a 34-14 victory. The Vikings march into the Superdome, beat up on Aaron Brooks and the Saints, come out on top 38-7. And this Monday Night Football game between the Rams and the Buccaneers, the Rams ended up winning by 2 touchdowns. Really the key in that game was the fact that the Rams were able to run the ball. You see there, they ran it 59 times for over 242 yards. Both Steven Jackson and Marshall Faulk went over the century mark rushing. And that was the difference. The Rams defense forced 3 takeaways. And the offense was able to control time possession with the running game. So the Rams improved to 3-3, and they'll be taking on the Miami Dolphins in week 7. Now, as for the weekly awards, the AFC side, you see their Offensive Player of the Week, LaDainian Tomlinson, 29 carries, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, alongside 5 catches, 73 yards. He almost went over 300 yards from scrimmage. And you see there, Jerome Bolden. He had his best game so far at cornerback against the Chiefs. 10 tackles, 2 picks, including a pick six, and a forced fumble. Then on the NFC side, Jake Delhomme, 38 completions out of 52 attempts for 412 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 to Steve Smith, and a 70-yarder to Muhsin Muhammad. And Kent Irvin on the Vikings, he forced a fumble and racked up a pick 6 as well. Now on to the Week 7 matchups and games. Baltimore, coming off their bye week, hosts Buffalo. They look to, continue their hold on the AFC North. Chargers and the Panthers, they square off. The Eagles, coming off their first loss of the year, go to Cleveland to see if they can bounce back. I mentioned this matchup before, 2-4 Jaguars between the Colts, who suffered their first loss of the year at the hands of the Jaguars. It's do or die time for the Chiefs in this one. They'll be taking on the 4-2 Falcons team that's not going to be playing Michael Vick. Michael Vick's a little banged up, so Falcons will be rolling with Matt Schaub for this one. Winless Miami still looking for their first win as they take on the Rams, 3-3. They're still going to be starting. The Rams still going to be starting. What's his face? Chris Chandler, because the quarterback that they acquired, Kurt Warner, he's still injured, not yet ready to play. So and Mark Bolger's out for the year due to the injury. So they'll be rolling with Chris Chandler at least for one more week. 4-1 Minnesota at home against the reeling Titans team who's lost 2 in a row. Giants and the Lions, 2 struggling teams. Buccaneers trying to avoid being the Bears' first win of the year. This is the game of the week right here. 5-0 New York Jets at New England to see who comes out on top in the AFC East. Seahawks look to bounce back after getting shut out last week. They'll be going to Arizona. That might be a trap game since it's a NFC West division rivalry game. Division rivalry games are always tough, especially when teams on the road. 2 historical franchises, Green Bay, Dallas. That's the 4 o'clock game that Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Chris Collinsworth are going to be calling. And then these 2 teams, 2 and 4, trying to get things back on track. And then the 6-0 Broncos look to improve to 7-0 as they take on the Bengals on Monday Night Football. And that'll do it for this one. Like, comment, subscribe as always. And have a nice rest of your day.